One day I'ma wake up with a reaper at the door. Don't need all the answers, just say anything at all. I've been praying for a minute, I've been waiting on your call. Oh, don't need all the answers, just tell me what life is for. One day I'ma wake up with a reaper at the door. Don't need all the answers, just say anything at all. I've been praying for a minute, I've been waiting on your call. Oh, I've been waiting on you, waiting on you. Yeah, I've been waiting on your call. Oh, I've been waiting on your call. Been waiting on your call right now. I wanna hear your voice somehow, voice somehow.
Hello and welcome back to the show. My pen's falling out my pads. I'm very well prepared, as always. So Fnatic and Godsent about to face off on Mirage on Train. I believe it was a 69 victory there for Fnatic. Didn't have too much in the way of issues against their Swedish opposition, and that wasn't too surprising. I guess we expected that.
Yeah, in many ways, and we did see Fnatic having a very solid CT side, much as they did in the first outing they had here earlier this week. So, yeah, business as expected, or business as usual, really, for Fnatic. It's going to be a lot more tighter, I think, going into Mirage, though. I think that's more of an even ground, even though it is a map that Fnatic do play.
Yeah, Godsent didn't really
get into the groove of things.
Yeah, we didn't really see much of anything on Train, unfortunately. The first half was quite dominant, so they have opportunity. I agree with you. I think it will be I mean, it's hard to not be a better map than what Train was, but yeah, I think we will see more of them on this map. It looks much more promising, and maybe it's a winnable map for them. I don't think Train, I mean, looking at the play, I don't think it ever was, but maybe there's something for them to do on Mirage.
I feel like with Twist as well for Godsent, we saw a lot of spots where I feel like he was sort of like, I'm ready to go, guys, I'm ready to go. But it's like very hard to find a spot on Train sometimes. Yeah. And so we didn't really get to see too much of him, but I don't think he's going to have that problem on Mirage. I think Mirage is going to be very open for Twist. There's so many options to get him started. So I feel like it does play to Godsent, but at the same time, the strengths that it emphasizes for Godsent, I think that goes the same way for Fnatic, and I think under Golden's leadership, that should the way that he does lead the team, I think they're going to have a very good basis to have a strong T side.
Yeah, no, definitely so. And again, I'm still excited to see how the continuation of Fnatic's CT sides are going to evolve. Obviously, you have the players on that team to do a lot of funky stuff. Obviously, JW is a bit of an entity on his own when it comes to playing aggressively and so on. But I think there's a lot of room for opportunity on a map like Mirage. And we've seen that, you know, from time to time, there's teams that start you know, putting more effort into Mirage, and they focus especially on being aggressive on their CT sides to, you know, a fair amount of success as well, obviously, until it gets figured out and teams adapt for it. But I think it's one of those cool things that you'll see swing in and out every now and again from teams to teams, and I think Fnatic definitely has the potential to be very effective with that sort of a playstyle.
Godsent will begin on the CT side. Schneider with a defuse kit and a high explosive grenade, and one of these Fnatic players has failed to run up the planks of wood. That will be Crims. He's the guilty party. Now trailing his teammates when should be flushed trailing since he's got the grenades. Flashbangs are here, but Dopplan doesn't get flashed. That's all P2000 for him. Really patient with these shots, trying to get a second kill, but he'll only be good for one. Yeah,
I love that patience. Dennis will come into the back positions around the apartments, and he will be sniping them down. Easy frag onto Necro. Another head to be popped by Bench. It's Crims, and now there's almost no one left. JW, unceremonious exit to the round as he goes down, and Godsent pick up the pistol, and they make it look really easy.
It's actually unreal how efficient Dennis is with pistols. I mean, obviously it's been stated over and over again, he is probably the best pistol player in the world, but to be able to do it with such consistency is remarkable. It seems like he's always going to find 2 kills or more, and obviously that's a massive benefit for your team.
USP for the win. I always want to switch to the PT1000, but I can never bring myself to do it.
I'll make a convert out of you.
I don't know, man. I'd be surprised.
I'll basically just start team killing you at the start of every round.
Okay, well, I guess that works.
Team kills you first.
Schneider with some pot shots onto Crims. It's going to take him out through the smoke. And here we go with the aggression. I'm not really sure if I'm loving the aggression out of Dennis in this kind of round, especially because he has a cult. He does have backup and twist in window, but It's also an easy way to get off a weapon. Will come out of it unscathed. Takes out Golden as well, so that leaves Flush and Lekro. Lekro already been spotted out by Doppler, who was a bit on a fact-finding mission in B halls. Now, all down to Flush, who has to try to get hold of that bomb, but Freddy's obviously noticed that that is vacant.
Freddy B. There he is. Okay, well, it's time to get into round 3. The AKs will come out as the bomb went down for Fnatic in the first round. And this will be quite interesting what they have in store. Obviously, I would like to see a slower rounds where they sort of just see if Godsent are up to any aggression, because when Godsent are in a position where they know they have worse weapons, they may be much more inclined to do something funky. And we do see 4 towards A at the start.
Just got a Molotov going down to prevent the typical Molotov interconnector. Doesn't really get anything for it. But mid-control is gained from Fnatic. Nobody's actually playing from window this time around at all for Godsent. So there's going to be pressure towards T-side pit. And we've seen this more and more, actually. It feels like every CT side we've seen on Mirage so far in this season has had this as a bit of a starting base for the CT side, with being aggressive towards that.
The SK YouTube setup.
Yeah.
But they've gone beyond that. But what can they do with this information? They've seen that there's no one there. And it's fairly common to see a lurker towards A, but there is none for Fnatic, which may suggest a B play, but there's no one towards B yet either. Finally, they're getting their first pick-off. Doppler forward towards short, maybe in response to not seeing anybody on the ramp. So that's one down for both sides. Still, there's no lurker for Fnatic around either side. No rotation just yet. Just under a minute for them to continue with this round. More smoke's being deployed. And it seems they're going to creep into shorts.
Yeah, that's not your typical approach to it. Very slow pace. Gonna allow for Twist to get some tagged in here.
He can bait for his teammate. Schneider with the FAMAS from Market, but they've still got the high ground advantage as well. So this is looking really bad for Fnatic. Despite that kill, Doppler finally revealing his position. Pressuring the bomb planter, but not quite getting the kill.
Smart of him to back off there in that situation. And I don't think they're going to expect the second player from Godsent coming in here. Well, actually, Crims does.
Wow, he even gets tagged through the side there. I agree there. I think Disco Doppler showed a really good presence of mind mid-fight to back off in that situation.
Yeah,
that gave him a chance to win the round.
Yeah, I would have expected him to halfway have Freddy at least closer to him than when he re-engages, but I guess they also had that in mind that if he goes down, that there's very small likelihood of anyone from Fnatic expecting a second person to come through B halls as well.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite pan out though, so Fnatic do get their first round on the board, but seeing how there was minimal upgrades on Godsent side, they're going to have a pretty decent buy here coming into the 4th round.
2 players lurking outside B. Almost guarantees ultimately an A play. Sorry, not B, A.
But there's literally no one on B for Godsent.
Yeah, I meant A, the T's, but indeed.
It's a bit of an unique setup.
Yeah, do they have an idea of what Fnatic might be doing? Well, I mean, look how deep they've got here. This surely has to make them wonder about the B-bomb side, that they are in such forward positions, unless this is a telegraph play from Fnatic when, in this situation, is there a hard read from Godsent that Fnatic are going to go A in this round?
It's either that or they're banking on a retake, which is weird though, because they don't really have the utility to set up for a proper retake on B, and B is normally much harder to retake than the A-bomb site.
This is a very punishing setup if you play a very, very slow pace as well.
Yeah. And
that's exactly what Fnatic have been doing, so could be another reason why Godsent have opted to go for this, just in knowing Fnatic's pacing on Mirage. And they quickly switch it up towards B, and now Godsent, they've got 35 seconds on the clock that's left, so they have a really good read themselves that, okay, Fnatic is a very good option for them to go B now. They've had the time to go for the rotation. Twist can get the information spotted.
The problem here is Twist has no utility to hold anyone off, and Disco Dublin is rotating him from catwalk, so that is the saving grace here.
Yeah, he could be the initial engager, but the smokes will isolate his teammate. Oh, that might just win the round. Well, the kills will certainly help. 6 seconds for Crims, 1 versus 3. And he must do as much as he can, and now he needs to stay alive. Well, he chooses to fight. He may not have a choice, so that has collapsed for Fnatic, and that really looks like Godsent had an absolute hard read in this situation. Fnatic do this.
That was a very weird plan. decision from Flush as well, because they knew that Doppler was shooting at them even before they engaged. Even before they removed Twist from the bomb site, they knew that Doppler was playing around from Catwalk.
That's a very good point. I think he's going for max value with one of the strongest plants that Tees can have, but it's a gamble which didn't pay off for Fnatic and leaves them on pistols.
One thing about the way that they had that set up, I could see that setup rising more if you have a situation where Godsent have an AWP that's been on B apps. Just because it's less likely that an AWPer gets challenged or anyone tries to walk out against an AWPer. But Godsent just did it, man. They just went for it. Really interesting. Now they just have to evade these pistols, and they pretty much have a perfect scenario going for themselves. There's not too many locations that Fnatic can really move into at this point, and they will all drop one by one. So Godsent off to a terrific start here. I hold my breath as I say, as JW still alive with the Deagle, but that will be 4 rounds for Godsent, losing only a single man, and Fnatic still on that 1 round.
Military force. Do you remember when you were a kid, right? Not a baby goat, but a child, and you'd have these like toys, and like the army themed toys will have these cool sounding macho words like military force on them. Right? It just reminded me of my childhood a bit. All those cool names and those cool words. Everything was cool, man.
This push is cool as well, as the timing is likely going to absolutely ruin Fnatic. It's going to be a massacre. Loaded. Oh, man. That is a quick spray down.
Oh, God.
That is a military force.
The military force is out.
I was given a tank once, a remote-controlled tank, as a birthday present from my dad, who didn't live with me at the time. But the tank sucks, man. I said everything was cool. Everything wasn't cool. The tank only went forward and left.
Forward and left?
Yeah. So if you drove into a wall, you couldn't reverse. You had to go and pick it up.
And you could only run in circles.
That tank was terrible.
Did it shoot at least?
It only went, no, it just went forward and left. Maybe it made sounds, I can't remember, but I was so pissed. Forward and left.
Did JW spot out Dennis there? I have an inkling he might have. Again, Doppler wins out the duel, and JW trades the frag back. Does not expect Dennis to be there, so still going to find the frag though as he eventually peeks out, and that does leave Fnatic on a bit of a man advantage.
It is a brittle setup from Godsent at 5-1. Not going the way they expected. I think in that situation they have to trade, but didn't quite work out the way they wanted to.
So only 1 man left for Fnatic in mid, and Golden can very easily get caught out here. He's actually going to be the one to take out Twist and Schneider. Hello? Definitely should have been able to get more done there in that situation. Disco Dublin's there to tidy things up though, but it's given a lot of control of the map to Fnatic, and you can see Crim's probably what was intended to either be a backstab or a fake. It works out nicely enough to win the round. We're finally going to see an op being brought out on the side of Godsent. So Twist is probably going to be working his way around that middle area. And so far they have given up, well, not necessarily given up control, but they haven't been able to maintain mid control versus Fnatic up to this point. So that might change from now on. Actually, they're going very aggressive here.
Yeah, very fast push into A. Godsent will arrive. Dennis at the scene. Dennis is taking no prisoners. Freddie B over the top as well. Gets himself off a couple good shots for a double 2, so that is going to leave just 1. Flusher is not even in the sights, so this has failed dramatically for Fnatic. It's hard to see what Flusher can do from this position, beyond maybe somehow eke out an extra kill as the best case for some additional damage onto the economy of Godsent. But that will not be the case. Twist on the angle. And Godsent off to a 6th round now, which is a really nice start against Fnatic, who looked quite dominant on map 1.
It definitely is. And so far they've been doing it with a cool mix of aggression here in a lot of the rounds. We've seen them play very, very forward on A towards that ramp to the point where they even just leave the entire bomb site vacated. And I'm actually curious to see if that's something they'll go to more times in this CT half, and if they actually have like a very set plan of how they want to retake B, because that's not something you typically see. You have seen teams have the approach of allowing the A bomb site, obviously due to the I guess, common occurrence of A take smokes, and people just being happily content with retaking that A bomb site. But we've never really seen that with the B bomb site on Mirage. But it would be cool if there was a team that kind of figured that out, give them an entirely new dimension to play off of.
It made me think of Half-Life.
Why?
You kind of go into another dimension, don't you?
Oh, true.
All the aliens, all them aliens.
Well, I don't think. Are you in a new dimension, or is he just like go through a portal that teleports you to Zen or whatever?
Well, I hope it's a new dimension. Otherwise, it's way too close to home. Even though I say that, but we recently observed. I say we as NASA recently observed goings on in space, which happened a mere 25 million years ago.
Sorry, what are you talking about?
Space.
What about space?
We recently observed things that happened 25 million years ago.
Oh, right.
As in, last week. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? That's mad.
Lights, man. Takes a while to get here.
That is insane.
Liquor's made his way out on the B bomb site. Not gonna find Twist before he finds Flusha though. And won't find anything at all.
Godsent, good start so far.
Excellent start, I'd go as far as say. Again, limited economy on the side of Fnatic as well. No ops being presented yet. Haven't seen JW go up to that point yet. But for how commanding of a lead Godsent have, it's surprising that they haven't been able to build up more of an economy as of right now. But it is expensive to be CT. Schneider and a bit of a cubby is going to get spotted out by JW. It's an easy opening frag.
It's a curious risk as well.
Okay then, Dennis.
Wow. Well, the pop flash did come in for Snyder, but
timing was just
it was a bit too late. Yeah. JW just went down there super fast.
Dennis just decided to really commit to getting that frag afterwards.
Yeah, he's like, Schneider, don't worry, I got you, bro. But it is a 3v3, which is very favorable for the T's side.
Look at the abandonment of A that we've seen from Godsent. It's interesting because recently we've seen a number of teams bunched together on the CT side as opposed to trying to thinly defend both bomb sites. They try to use their resources more as a team than just being spread so thin across the map, and it's something which seems to be catching on. And
to be fair, if you're playing the percentages, on obviously we talk about how you don't want to donate a lot of money on eco rounds, for instance. You want to stick together as a group if you're stacked up on a site, etc. And that's the highest percentage play for the entirety of the match. And the same thing kind of goes into play for weapon rounds as well. So if you do stack up in a situation where you're, let's say, a 3v4 or 3v5, you do have the option to save afterwards, which again can lead to more buy rounds. So it's definitely an approach worth exploring for a lot of teams, I feel.
I think it's a step in the right direction, but can Flusha make the right steps? That smoke grenade turned out perfectly for him. He could be Ramp, he could be Palace. He's looking for information on both players, which is why he delays the first shot. Got plan now, trying to bait him with a smoke, but he hasn't touched the bomb. And there it is, trying to draw Flusha out. Maybe Flusha saw a step, maybe not. 10 bullets remain. Can dance around a bit more. Oh, so close, but didn't get the last swipe. Either way, everyone will fall to someone or the bomb. Everyone's dead.
Everyone dies.
But it's Godsent who have more money and have another buy. Do Fnatic opt to force? Yes, they do. No one surviving for Godsent. They all feel like they have opportunity to make a comeback in this half should they win this round.
Grim's actually going for a Mac 10 instead of a UMP here. I'm not sure if he's expecting a bit of a lesser buy coming out from Godsent or not. Maybe he's just going to dive through the smokes here and be a bit of a decoy.
Oh, dink on the Flusha, poor Flusha. Twist takes down Golden as well, so this is not starting off too well. Nice flick shot there from Twist. His AWPing has certainly been quite solid for Godsent so far, and we were talking about it in the pre-game. Twist unleashed. So this Chris almost gets a double there. Still Godsent with a good presence on the A site. Dennis down to 1. But it's okay, his flush is down to 6. And he's being naded to death at the moment.
Really rough time there.
In this corner, nowhere to go. They know he's there. They will back away though. Repositioning.
Do they know he's there?
They must know he's there.
Look at top lane.
They surely.
Top lane's in B apartments.
Wow.
I guess they figure he might have
slipped away from
like
slope.
Ducked out. Because they threw a smoke over the Molotov. So maybe they figured Flisha managed to sneak out somehow. And if you were expecting that of a player, then, you know, Flush is not a bad suspect.
But now all of his options are gone because of Disco Doplan's position. So they last time I heard him on A. With Doplan where he is, he can still only be on A. So Godsent playing a disciplined round, forcing Flusher to make the bomb plant before they reveal themselves, which is a very smart thing to do. And in fact, slowly but surely, Twist will find the angle.
I'm surprised Doppler didn't go to the mid area instead of going to ramp. Maybe assuming that he would try and save, because if he goes to ramp, then there's nowhere he can plant. It's a bit awkward for Twist in jungle to stop a plant around triple, which isn't for CT. But there we go, 8-3, 5-round lead. And it's Fnatic's turn to look at pistols round after round, as Godsent did in the first map.
Yeah, that's such a crazy reset after a round where they lost 5 players on a round that they won. Oh, Lekro is always good for it though, isn't he? Nice one shot. Does go down though, and he didn't have any teammates with him to try to trade onto Disco Doplan. So 1 and a done for Lekro.
Once again, the chat goes off. Just hearing it in the background.
Sure, we saw the NS, TY.
And a smiley face.
The I'll get you next time in Swedish.
Oh, JW just brazenly walking up connector. Completely unopposed. We'll find Freddy, so that's a very big opening, honestly, for Fnatic here. Just going to force some rotations.
Oh man, this is not good. Oh dear. Yeah, that's somewhat that can be quite unforgivable, leaving connector open in that way.
Okay, follows it up. I'm not sure how the first shot wasn't a hit, but there you go.
The game is wrong. Twist is right.
Oh, that was a miss.
Oh, there you go. Twist sort of getting caught off balance there. And that was not a spot where Twist could actually afford to die. He had to survive there. That's actually incredibly impactful. The AWP going onto Crims now, that really reduces Snyder's chances here significantly. Although Crims is the one with the AWP, and he is planting the bomb, so Snyder will be alive for a moment longer. But how long?
So hard for him to peek with no Kevlar though. They've got to be really careful. This is very winnable for Schneider until he gets shot in the chest. No longer winnable. That's a key round for Fnatic. I don't know how they got that far, all things considered, but maybe they've done enough to the Godsent economy now. We might see a 7-8 half.
The big question for me is how JW is allowed to walk up connector like that.
Yep. Yeah, that's the kind of thing, like, connector's open. So do you adjust your position, or do you just choose to have a blind spot?
Yeah.
Because that's what should really happen, the adjustment.
Especially because it seemed like Freddy was either covering for catwalk or he was worried about a boost into CPL. And if you're, I don't understand why he would be worried about catwalk, because they had 2 players on the B-bomb site at the time. So it's just strange.
What is going on in terms of strange 1 versus 1? It is a force buy from Godsent in fairness, and they have done very good work so far. We have a rotation from Doplan. Oh, he's picked up an AWP, but Golden's close enough that he might hear us go. Doplan giving some clues away, and that's enough for Golden to calm everything down and take the round. Force buy has failed for Godsent.
That's pretty messy from Fnatic though. I mean, they sort of just wanted to bum rush it and force their way in, and that's, yeah, you have to always be a bit cautious with that. They managed to eke it out in the end, but it could definitely have been a victory on the other side. And now they are going to reap the rewards. That was a very important one for them to win. It puts them in a great position to recover for the half. Pop flash not going to be effective, not required though. So systematic removal of the defenders from the respective bomb sites that they hold.
Have either of you ever been fishing?
No.
Albo, have you been fishing before?
I've been fishing, yeah, multiple times.
Have you ever hooked a maggot onto a
fishing hook?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
I never did.
So
I always use sweet corn instead because I was too wimpy to do that.
I was perfectly fine with that part, but once you catch a lot of fish, then having to like rinse them out and everything, that was not my thing. Just like diving into like the entrails.
Oh, you mean gutting the fish?
Yeah.
Okay.
I never caught a fish. But enough about fish, it's about the last round of the first half. That grenade looks good, but it won't do much. And Godsent have gone back to this position where Twist will just face in lower on his own, and it's not going to work out for him. Early disadvantages for Godsent. The CT side, it looked good for them, but it's falling apart.
Yeah, what a weird one. Connector taken over by Fnatic as well. Brute force seems to be all Fnatic no, and it will be working out nicely so far. Schneider in the clutch 1v3. He might be able to get ahead of the bomb here potentially, or not necessarily get ahead of the bomb, but be in position right as it's planted, which could give him an opportunity here. If he's able to get a fast frag, and with Golden as low as he is, there might be a chance, but he can see that he can't get through the door in time to beat out the smoke grenade, and that's a problem.
Does the silencer give his position away? I do wonder.
This will though. He's using a fair amount of time for being in a 1v3 situation though. But like he's not gonna have time to actually defuse, and he's also given away his position about 15 seconds ago with that molly. So a bit of a weird approach, but in the they still win the first half. But I feel like if they manage to play the anti-eco where GW walks up connector properly, then they're looking at least double figures and probably like something closer to an 11-4. Yeah, like 10-5, 11-4 half, and obviously that's way better. You know, just to really state the obvious.
Yeah, I would favour Fnatic at this point for this match. I think definitely Godsent maybe led a number of rounds slip. A lot of high risk CT setups, and not many of those risks paid off. JW looking for info, just about gets it, able to reposition towards the ramp, and fortunately for him there's nobody there, but he's got to check it, but he is being hunted. His teammate has gone undetected so far. Will they check for him? Does Crims engage the first player? No. Smart stuff. Waits for that plant, and there we go. I didn't think anyone would check that, funnily enough. Crims has played a master stroke, 2 kills for him now. The bomb is completely exposed.
I wonder if they didn't check that because JW is offered up so much.
Yeah. You would have expected Crims to potentially try to help JW in that situation.
He's denied the plant at least, which is really crucial for now.
Sometimes you have to let your teammate die for the greater good.
Yeah.
A lesson to learn, those of you at home. Get mad when your teammate doesn't save you.
Oh,
one of the few times where baiting is acceptable.
Flash only has 11 bullets. They're really weak though. Oh, there's one pop. Can't get anything else done. That's very unfortunate for Flusher. He was really in with a chance there. Crims did a lot of work, able to just, you know, eke down those players. But in the end, it will be unhelpful. 7 rounds for Fnatic as Godsent pick up that pistol, and it puts them in the driving seat. And I'm curious what they have to show on the T side.
Yeah, if it's going to be just very standardized mid-play or A-takes, if they have anything else prepared. On the side of Fnatic, buying up with pistol, more Deagles than ZZs this time around, only Golden. So opted to go for that, and a scout on Crims. So
scout and a kit.
Yeah, so the tempo on Godsent side can't necessarily be too slow. Obviously because of the danger from Crims just getting tags all over. Or, you know, the ZZ's doing work.
Now they have to speed things up. They've got to take a risk. Because just as you say, now the scout starts to pick away at them, just as the Deagle seems to be doing as well. And looks like they have a good read of the position. We'll get the big rotation back to that B-bomb site, and that's going to cause massive issues for Godsent.
I'm actually surprised that they still commit towards B at this point, because they've telegraphed it so, yeah, so much.
Do not mess with Lekro, man. I mean, he's got that deagle. Still a solid chance here for Godsent to pick up the round as they occupy the bomb site, but there's players all around them. Golden coming in unknown, I think. Oh, he's got an AK to pick up as well. This could be massive. Keeping the CZ out for the time being. Giving his position away. The headshot from Crims. Bomb down as well into the shot position. Freddy B in an impossible spot to play from. He's got 2 HP. Picks up the headshot, but Crims is left with the scout. He should surely know to be using the USP here as well. He's got that out. He's walking with it, but still, Freddy B catches him by the side, unbeknownst to him. That's a massive problem.
Was Crims not aware of the fact that he dropped the bomb with the kill?
It must have been. It must have been. That should not be happening.
Because I would imagine, obviously, depending on how much HP he he thinks Freddy B has in that situation, he could have backed off towards the entrance of kitchen. Because Freddy is in a situation where he has to get through the window or get through doors into kitchen to actually be able to pick up that bomb.
Yeah, that's a really brutal situation to lose, isn't it? But they did do a lot of damage.
Yeah, they really did.
So that's always a nice one. They just have to be able to capitulate on the following round.
There we have that angle that we've talked about previous this week. Very tough to deal with.
Okay. Crims with 2 kills in the connector area with the P250, and it's falling apart once again. JW now with the USP, but he's close. He needs to reload. He's trying to pick up a weapon. He can't do it. But Crims will get another kill. Down to the 1 versus 1.
Oh my god.
That is just... What is going on? We didn't see Crims' kills, but he got 2 kills in the connector position.
But he got it from sight as well.
Really?
Yeah, he was playing from bomb site.
Which
just really confused me because I was looking at everybody dying from catwalk and in connector, and none of them were Crims.
They lost 4 players and then 5 players.
That does not leave you with a lot of money.
That's really bad.
That's got to be depressing.
Like anti-force buy rounds. That's nuts. Anti-force buy and anti-eco. It can't really go much worse than that. It actually can't go worse than that, really.
That's really bizarre.
I don't know how often I've ever seen that, where, you know...
I don't think we've ever seen that. Across 2 rounds like that. That's madness.
It's monstrous damage to Godsent. They were in such a great position too, and now, I mean, wow. It's
all starting to fall apart.
It does remind me of that JW round where he creeps through into vents with that P250. Like one of these small things that should not go wrong, and it's just, that's happening over and over again now for Godsent.
30 joules in the middle area. Flusher's got 31 HP, time to back off. And the carnage continues. That isn't the bomb. That's not the bomb either. It's Freddy B, the last man standing, who's got the bomb. There is a player on short, so once he's revealed his position, life will get even more difficult. Fnatic prevail. 3 players surviving. And maybe the pistol madness has stopped for now, because the AKs are coming out for Godsent. They will be lacking in grenades by quite a bit. They've only got 2 smokes, Godsent. What do they do with this? Do they go towards the apartments? Do they go for a fast A? This is going towards... Okay. Going towards the CPL position. And it's going to be a B. So you've got 1 smoke left. And JW... Oh, boy. Okay, 2 kills there. Would have been ideal. They will lose 1 player. Lekro with perfect positioning. Spraying down... Flusher on the short position. Has 2 players coming his way. He's heard them. He's got the advanced angle, but it will be another 1-for-1.
Smart stuff to go for the continuation spray. That, presuming that there will be a trade fragger. Didn't get it though. And also smart from Lekro to throw that spray into the apartments after his teammates had died, expecting a fast push.
Maybe look at T-spawn. Okay. Twist Smoke has told the CTs where 1 player is. They won't know that he's carrying the bomb, but that is more information than Godsent were maybe looking to give away.
The question is what Golden decides to do with it, because obviously Freddy's on a bit of a fact-finding mission himself. He's going to spot that the entire bomb site is clear, but that should be a bit of a pointer for Twist that someone could be aggressive, either in T-pit or he's actually just going to ignore it and run up here.
Yeah,
this could be a bit of a disaster.
Oh, Freddy B was watching for that. What a teammate, man. He's covering Palace. What a teammate.
Doing it all.
Yeah, there's so many spots there where I mean, I don't expect that's going to be happening. And Lekro is the last man standing, and he's going to be coming from Palace as well. It's quite an interesting angle. I wonder if they'll expect this. I don't know that they will, but they will have great positions so that I think Lekro will be forced to tap the bomb before they'll even show themselves.
I'm curious if he chose this path because Golden might have had a defuse kit on him, and that's why he's going that route. Yep.
Yeah, so, but there's no time anyway, so he's now just put himself in a spot where he will 100% die because the bomb will explode.
Yeah, he couldn't really be as sneaky about it as he would have liked to. He had to run at least halfway through their apartments and give away his spot, which obviously sucks, but with that approach, yeah, he doesn't give himself any time to actually win the round.
Yeah, he had a smoke. He had some utility to try to make that easier. He, was giving his position away, but as you say, this is just a very strange game at this point, just due to the nature of how some of the rounds have been uncharacteristically won. And Godsent are 11-9, but Fnatic, if they are able to win this one, that's Godsent reset again. So it's this is a really interesting point of the match. This is the point in which we may see a big lead start. It's either going to come from Fnatic or Godsent. The
rounds play out very uncharacteristically, but it's very characteristic for the Mystic matchup.
That's true, actually. That's a good point.
It is always wonky for no other reason than that the teams know each other very well.
Teams are very familiar indeed.
That's a terrible smoke for short.
That is a pretty poor short smoke.
Yeah, how can it be that bad in a professional match?
It's actually almost like as if he tried to put down a really... Maybe that was a play, like playing 4D chess and whatnot. Wants JW to walk past into that angle.
That is also a sign that they know each other very well. Flush is specifically looking for that boost. Catches Schneider just at the perfect timing.
Ex-teammate on teammate action.
Gets the info as well. Goes for a repeak. I'm not sure that was necessary. It's very cheeky from Flusher to try to repeak again there after getting that advantage. That Crow will compound it though. Dennis will open up the options towards A.
Crims is in a tough spot, but Dopplan will look the wrong way. Only good for one Crims, but he spotted some info. Dennis will swat some players, leaving JW alone. Oh, he saw the head, he saw the dome, he saw the cranium. He saw the skull, but can he put it on his mantelpiece? That's a question. Where is the other player? He's double scoped in now. If he has to press Q just in case he gives the position away. And he's going to go for the save.
Yeah. Bitter pill to swallow, but right decision to make. Still a lot JW could potentially deal with that up in the upcoming round.
There was a time on Mirage where inside the window of the B apartments there, you could see through to this ramp to top mid. So if somebody was coming down there, you could spot them and take action. Launch a drone strike, perhaps. Mirage has had some of the weirdest bugs of any map in CSGO, I have to say. Because next to the crawl space, you could just crawl into the wall and stand in the wall. And you could see people outside, but they couldn't see you, and you could just shoot at them as they went past. Or if they didn't go past, then you'd just be stuck in the wall. And there was a time where in that blue door, sometimes you would spawn there and warm up. And just be in a box. Very bizarre map.
Well, in this round, only one player to worry about for Godsent.
Have you seen Crims's P250 action on this map, Dan? I think there are 5 players for Godsent to worry about, considering 2 previous rounds.
Yes, that's a good point, yeah. But I wonder how they'll think about it. They're looking for obvious aggression, and there will be none at the start of the round, so it's going to be a whole lot of nothing for a while.
Exciting times.
Exciting times.
What do we talk about?
We talk about that mini boost that they got going on the B bomb site. Could potentially catch a couple of players unaware, but with all the utility that Godsent have on their hand right now, they shouldn't be really in a scenario where they could get caught off by any sort of angles. So have 3 smokes to work with here. One of them is going to go over towards A.
It's going to Youngle.
Youngle. Well, they are Swedish, that is true.
Did I say Youngle?
Youngel. Whatever they do, they mess up the J, for sure.
I remember when I said that they call me James, and Vigo said we say J like normal people do. So I'm like, but you don't. Why would you say that?
They really don't.
You definitely don't.
Funny thing is, like when he's saying that in the Swedish language, there is no jerk sound. So like you have the letter J, but obviously you don't pronounce it like that. There is no sound like that, right?
I can only assume he misunderstood what I was saying, but I don't know what he could have thought I was saying.
He was like, no, like I'm definitely saying your name.
Yeah, the way he replied.
To be fair, like he did say your name. It's just like pronounced horribly.
I like
he
it.
had all the letters.
I liked going to DreamHack and picking up my pass when the girls say James. Anyway, enough about me for this round. Anyway, 13-9. Godsent, they're closing in on a win here.
Oh, it's a bit of a bad miss from Doppelin.
Back to Twist.
I just until someone's won, I'm not swinging anyway, because right now these two teams are so hard to predict. After the good start, they're getting absolutely crushed now by this A defense, and this good Doppelin will turn his attention to a Twist, but they're sort of bogged down in this position. That is a fantastic shot and a swap of weaponry. Interesting that they swapped the guns just for that particular peak. I'm not sure. That's
no. Doppelin had the op from the get-go because he went mid. Tried to get the opening frag there.
Oh, okay.
Then he missed an easy shot and redeemed himself, but still not enough to appease the
Lord Twist.
Yep.
Well, maybe it's a style thing as well, and Twist is a better aggressive AWPer.
I think just Twist is a better AWPer and full stop.
Maybe that as well. 45 seconds for these guys, and again, there's nobody in the B bomb site. Perhaps Fnatic are simply confident to retake the B bomb site. Doppelland's being taken down, and that leaves Twist on 1 versus 3, and I'm sure they would have heard the smoke bloom across the map. So there should be a rotation coming in. He's looking for a plant, which is good. Yeah. High ground if you can get there. Flusher making sure that Twist is very dead.
I'm very curious about the fact that like I get for an after plant scenario, yeah, that's a better plant for you to have, but you have no indication of where any of the players from Fnatic's side are. So why not go for the safest plant possible that at least allows you to get some sort of wiggle room? The only place you're really exposed for with a standard default plant is B-apps. And considering the fact that Doppelin went back through B-apps to then re-engage in mid, likelihood of that having come through is less likely. So you at least give your shot. Yeah, you don't get the forward positioning, but at least you could fight it out and potentially make it into a 2v1.
Yeah, there could be someone in market.
Yeah, no, there could definitely be someone in market, but I think at that point he has to commit with the jump through the window or get outdoors to deny the bomb plant. And I know that one of the players that would be the likely rotator through market would probably be the guy in the window that Doppelin fired against. And, well,
Grim's not going to trade for his teammate there, but it's a stark difference in approach from the CT side, because when Godsent were in the connector area, they had very aggressive positions. That's not the way you want to die. After not poking out when his teammate was getting peppered, simply walking past the gap that he wouldn't have been aware of.
Redemption from Freddie B there, right? He had a free kill at the beginning of the round, and I was surprised that he was able to get away with that. So little damage was done, but definitely brought his team back into the bomb site.
Bomb has been planted.
Swedish derbies are always weird, aren't they?
Yeah. They do create for some very entertaining games, though.
Yeah.
Right now, is he underpass on the one remaining Godsent player? Yeah, that is. Schneider's going to find Flush as well, and that makes the round a whole lot worse. Bomb's not planted on the side for Schneider, though, so he needs to actually move up from connector here.
10 bullets. Use them well, JW. And Disco Doppelin will take him down. 14-10 indeed. Godsent looking like they're on the cusp of victory. Yeah. Especially considering Fnatic's bye. But they have won almost won one of those rounds and won another one of those rounds. So don't want to count them out. But you would hope at least that Godsent will be playing a cleaner round against echoing players or players with a suboptimal buy.
Yeah. A
Deagle buy. Deagle no Kevlar. It took way too long for me personally for people to just start doing Deagle no Kevlar because the way the style that you use the Deagle, you
use it as a turret, right?
Yeah, you play corners. It's about the first shot. If you mess up the first shot, you might as well die anyway in a lot of spots. So it's It's all about how you choose positioning as opposed to anything else.
I guess like obviously the changes to aim punch might affect that a little bit as well, because if you crouch into an angle, then your arm might be visible. That might mess up your aim one, and that's one of the reasons why they've opted for it. But yeah, I've been a believer of Deagle only for the longest time, especially mainly because it does allow you to actually buy something in the following round as well, depending on how the economy of your team or your opponent panned out and all that stuff.
It's and that's the thing. Like if your team is buying like 2 or 3 Deagles and you get 1 or 2 kills out of it, which happens often enough, that's very worth it. It's also quite cool as well because the Deagles, you don't really need to set up the plays as well. Again, you can just be stuck on an angle, take a long range shot and get a connection. Whereas if you're playing the CZs or the P250s, you sort of need to have another player with you if you want to really do something.
Yeah, want to have a gap closer, or at least an opportunity where you can get multiple shots off, which is not the case for the Deagle.
Yeah. Triple MP9. This is some envious level stuff.
Well, let's see if they're as efficient with it as Shoxy is shown to be at times. Do
they know something we don't about MP9s? What's going on?
No, it is a real, like, I'm pretty sure it kills in 2 hits if both are headshots. If you're close enough, at least.
I believe so.
So obviously, if you have solid aim, then you're good to go. If you're us, then that's definitely not the approach.
I have solid aim with an MP9.
With an MP9?
Absolutely.
The rest of the weapons, though?
Could change.
Yeah, could change. It's a variable.
Yeah, I know how to use the MP9.
I've never been able to use MP9 at all. Like, the fire rate is just too quick for me. Weirdly enough.
It's right up my street.
Like those high-powered machine guns.
What is up the street of Fnatic in a round where things are pretty difficult? Flusher, is it his turn to get caught around connector? Perhaps not, but oh, that is so rude. Golden pushing in the meantime. He's got JW. I was going to say for support, but he's dead. Crims making a play through Palace. So
I think Dennis is aware of this. I'm not sure how, but
he may just be checking for it. Again, these players all know each other, and Dennis is was a Fnatic player. Oh, there we go, and out of the corner. Twist unable to do anything. I don't think he's spotted Twist, but he certainly has now.
Wow, look at Crims just trying to delay the maximum amount of time, create distraction. It works. Everybody completely distracted, and Fnatic will win the round with shenanigans. That's hilarious. It's actually really funny. I do wonder, actually, like sometimes why you don't see people try to basically just fake footsteps, like run a little bit, where only if a Palace guy is there, he could hear you, because that would obviously bait. In that case, we saw it, right? Crims comes out, does the MP9 action. Because it doesn't cost you anything, and you can always do it, and there's no worst case to it.
I guess if you're Godsent at that point, you think to yourself that you've been sneaky enough to not give away anything.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I suppose in reality you don't want to give anything away until you are pushing into the side. So
that's an unfortunate wall tag. Does at least force Crims out of position. Might make him less prone to action and re-engage.
These guys are really looking for that action. It's like Swedish, like SPL. Devilbox playing SPL today, Swedish Pro League, as operated by Monsieur JW, who is in action now with 2 HP. This is absolute madness. Fnatic, they have an opportunity to... They're only 4 rounds away, and there are only 4 men remaining in this round for them, which may easily be 3 if JW gets hit by the odd flashbang or 2. But they have the opportunity to maybe take this game away from Godsent if they can retake the reins in this round.
Again, slow approach. This time though, B side not vacated, which has been a popular theme so far from both teams. And I'm curious if they're going to let Dennis actually be the initial point of contact here to see if they can draw any sort of rotation out.
Yeah, he really needs to be doing something now, but he's just going to be lucky, trying to catch people in the back. But it does rely on his team taking the site, and it's looking bad for them at the moment. Lekra able to take down one, buys space and time for Flusher to pick up another, and the effort is laboured, but it is still going, and that's going to allow Dennis to do something. Oh, Twist! He has a sense for it, but he won't have a sense for that. Golden with the last frag there for Fnatic to take the round, and that's going to prolong things, or perhaps and allow Fnatic to get into overtime and actually win things, because Godsent's money is broke.
They are completely broke. I do like the approach from. It's very like it's 100% commitment from Twist, at least, like recognizing that with the situation, given the likelihood of him ever getting a bomb plant down is very low, so he just fully commits to actually going aggressive on the two remaining members, as he does have Dennis come in from behind.
The aggression continues from Fnatic. Flushado's got to look behind him. Top lane was lurking.
Everybody's getting shot from everywhere.
Yeah, this is really crazy. Almost missed these Swedish matches, but it's carnage. I still can't get over those 2 pistol rounds.
It's been messy.
This could actually kill some players here.
There we go.
And there's one.
No head armor on Flusha. JW will close the deal though. 2 kills for pretty much 0 investment though.
Well then, it's buy time. For Godsent, once again, do they have it in them to finish this match in normal time? That is the question. They've got a more than reasonable, a good amount of grenades. We see the smoke grenades sailing in. Golden will offer some spray towards mid, but it seems there is a focus towards B from the Godsent side. A very deep Molotov, maybe followed up by a smoke grenade. This smoke will smoke off the short position. We see Guardian throw this as well for Na'Vi and also for FaZe.
That nade.
It's a perfect flashbang from Lekro, and people may jump into the flames. He's repositioning as well, making it really hard for Godsent, and he will run distraction while the rest of his team capitalize. The bomb isn't committing though. Twist trying to make a play through the smoke, but it's falling apart for Godsent.
Yeah, this has really failed dramatically. And this is not a time when you want a round like this to play out like this. I feel as though they've had a lot more success in middle. Oh, but still, Shiner's alive and kicking. He's doing damage, still 2 frags for him. Maybe it's actually still possible. And there is time to play around, but the problem is JW has that AWP at a very favorable angle. So that's another round for Fnatic on the board. And the problem is that there's no bomb plant. So with the lack of the bomb plant means that there will be no AKs in this round for Godsent, unless they want to sacrifice a lot of utility.
They could potentially do something they did on Train as well, which is buy up AKs for their teammates, but they're going to opt to go the pistol route. They could have had 2 extra AKs with full armor and utility. Actually, it's going to be a scout on Twist.
This is probably a good way to go. And I think that Fnatic will expect a set piece just due to the fact that they're going to be aware that Godsent has no power on the picks and likely has no power on big map control plays because of the lack of potential utility. So the execution, now a delay until the re-execution onto the A site.
Jump fail doesn't help. Crimson JW popping off once again around the A site, and Godsent, how much do they have to offer? 2 versus 2. Now things are really kicking off. They've only got a Molotov left, and they'll back up. They've got time to play with, and they will look to slow things down and maybe rotate. I hope they don't stand around the middle area though on this rotation. Seems they'll both head to Palace, which is very curious because they'll be exposed everywhere when they come out.
This is pretty cool, actually. I like this because also they don't know necessarily if one of these 2 CTs actually pushed B apps or something like that. So, and they have the time to really wait and delay, and so that could really mess up the rotation timings of Fnatic if they were making plays like that. And obviously, put the question in the mind of the CTs that they could be going B, but very exposed there to all positions. And that's not going to work out here for Godsent. Just down to Freddy B now. He's got a clutch versus 2. Got to get the bomb down as well, and there's only 20 seconds left. He can't be messing around with time. CT's just waiting for him to plant. And Godsent, they can't get it done in regulation. It's going to be 15-15. Fnatic brought it to overtime. I feel like there could definitely have been some better plays from Godsent there in the 2v2. What do you think, Alvor?
I'd agree with that. Again, even when they go down to a 1v2 and Freddy B is alone, I'm surprised it doesn't drop down towards site to actually try to get a bomb plant to force at least Fnatic to come towards him. But yeah, no, obviously unfortunate timing for Schneider as he goes wide to check towards ticket booth that Liquor finally pops out, because they had been playing fairly standstill on the side of Fnatic. They were just doing like a very half committal to both bomb sides, really standing in the midst of everything, hoping for a quick rotation to either of them. But there you have it. Fnatic bring it back from what I think it was a 15-10 lead that Godsent had.
Yeah, around that, if not that.
Yeah.
I did wonder. I think, yeah, Godsent. It seems that things are still difficult for them.
Yeah.
At the moment.
One of the biggest question marks for me towards the later stages of the half is why, and this is something you mentioned, Dad, the fact that they were finding success in mid. They were doing pretty well for themselves, if not just getting straight up man advantages, at least they were trading things out. And we know that's favorable for the T side in any given scenario, pretty much on any given map. So why they would opt to go more of a group, or go for more of a grouped approach, like we saw in the second, yeah, exactly, the second to last buy round that they had, they go for pretty much blind 4-man execute towards B, which obviously didn't pan out. Instead of spreading themselves out, doing what found them success initially, really in the half, to get to the point where they actually got to match point. So that's definitely something that they should consider going into OT as well. Obviously, they're not going to have the benefit of actually putting Fnatic into an eco at this point, but they at least found a lot of trades. And with how sluggish this game is, with how back and forth it is, and how many awkward situations we get into, I think you should just basically base your play off of what's been successful initially, and not put too much thought into like, oh, we've done this 7 times in a row, so we should change things up. Because if it's been working for you 7 times in a row, then there's no really reason to change.
I mean, some teams in the effort to actually adapt to something that is, oh god, this team's doing this over and over again, we keep losing to it, we have to adapt. Sometimes they don't actually know how to adapt correctly.
Yeah.
Which is like, sometimes people give too much credit that if a team understands what you're going to do, that they know how to play against it. It's not always the case. I've seen many teams lose in that scenario before. I remember famously there was a game where it was a very old Astralis lineup with an old Existence G2 lineup, and it was basically on cash, and there was this B set piece execution that Existence kept running specifically in buy versus buy rounds on the T side, and Astralis couldn't beat it, and he did it like 3 times. And it's like, okay, it's been successful every time, and then Astralis tried to adapt, and they completely fail and just lose the game.
Yeah,
they just couldn't do it in that particular instance. It was a very long time ago.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
that is pretty much the mantra. And Fnatic deciding to opt for some aggression now. And again, the trades come in. This has pretty much been the trademark for the entire game. Very quick smoke deployment.
I just hope that we do see more of these mid takes, and then just Godsent developing around. I think, as you said, they can get a lot of mileage from this. And already, I mean, it's a 4 versus 4. That's created space on the map. Could create space for Dennis to pop out of apartments. The Palace position, he is looking to do so at some point. Looking for an opening, though, when some more action kicks off here at mids like this. Maybe not denied there. I thought Schneider would have an angle, but no.
I think it's at the very edge of the skull from JW, didn't fire. Well, a bit of a standstill right now. I like the fact that they're moving out of mid at this point, leaving Schneider alone. He's going to get picked off as well, but they're still, if they actually move quickly on this, they should know that there's been heavy focus towards mid from Fnatic's side, so there's openings for them to take advantage of. Golden's actually in a really awkward position as well that's very likely to be smoked out or just double peeked.
Throws a flashbang and kills somebody. Oh no! He's peeked instead. 3 on 3, 30 seconds. Trajectory spotted, but can JW do more than that? He can. That stops the bomb from being planted. 22 seconds. Does Doplan commit to this? Not feeling very comfortable.
Interesting round again. I feel like, so one thing we've seen time and time again from Godsent, rather from Fnatic in middle, is that they'll almost always try to retake middle, and they'll always try to repressure middle. They don't like to just allow Godsent to have it, which is really interesting because obviously that means once you have middle, you know that they're going to try to re-aggress it. So as you said, that creates a lot of spots where the extremities of the map are very open to push, or if you want to fight in mid, you're going to get those fights. So
it seems like Godsent kind of caught on to that, seeing how they rotated the bomb off and left Schneider in alone. I think for the future, if they notice that this is the current trend of Fnatic, then you can still do the exact same thing, except for having Schneider move further back into mid, having just stay around underpass. So there's no option for Fnatic to actually walk up connector into, for a rotation. Like, it's perfectly fine. You just have to be aware of the fact that they can stand on catwalk and actually take pop shots towards the A bomb site. But outside of that, there's not a whole lot Fnatic can do unless they want to fully commit.
And they've done it again. They've Godsent take middle, but Fnatic make a play in middle. Yeah. And Fnatic come out on top.
I wouldn't be surprised if Godsent are saying to themselves, like, we know exactly what they're doing, because it's the same approach, more or less, from Fnatic when they want to regress into mid. And oftentimes you fall into this scenario where it's like, we know what they're doing, we know what we should do to counter it, but again, it's like you said, you try to adapt, but it's not working for some reason, even though you might have the right idea even. And that's very frustrating to be in that kind of a situation.
Twitch trying to bait out players.
It's going to be really tough for him to get into an angle here with this kind of a plan. He does actually sneak out.
Got away. This is interesting. Twist, can he find the 1v1s? Oh, no, nope. No is the answer.
He thought he had it. He thought he had killed the player. Looked towards the next one, and then realized, oh god, I've made a terrible mistake.
It's all a lie. It's all a lie.
Will Fnatic go 3-0 in this half?
I feel like they sort of deserve to win this game at this point. Because I feel like
Godsent have made too many mistakes to earn it.
Yeah.
Or, okay,
yeah, I feel like they have actually showed a better game so far of the rounds that we've seen. But it's marginal, of course.
Yeah.
Double AWPs in the last round for Fnatic. As we have a faster play from Godsent, and Crims may be a key player here. Only good for one moment. He's got info for his team. Can he capitalize on it? No. Golden taken down as well. No CTs in CT. Rotations are short from B, one of their players, and JW's made his way to CT. A bit passive, and that might help because the flash is there, and Twist may be in for a nasty surprise if he commits to this. Can be difficult to see over the Molotov, but JW with more space than you normally expect. Doesn't land a shot though, and now his position is known. Jumps for the peak, and down he goes. So it seems Fnatic won't go 3-0. And that is a very much needed round for Godsent. You don't want to be playing against match point for an entire half.
That is definitely true. And, well, fast-paced works out for Godsent this time around. It's one of the few times we've actually seen them commit to the bomb site just very early on. And I don't think we've seen a single default A-take from Godsent, have we?
Default in what sense?
Default in as
like
you do the three standard
stairs,
smokes.
Smoke, CT, smoke. Okay.
Yeah, and then just run up. I don't think we've seen that from either side actually so far.
No, not really.
When we've seen the Danish team plays, it seems like it's one of their go-to moves.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because they'll do two different types of the set piece, like one where you split the site in half and you put presence towards jungle connector and so on, and then there's one, the normal one.
Yeah.
And then there's also the fake as well. Then, you know, once you run those two, maybe you run a fake. But yeah, that is an interesting thing. You know, recently watching Astralis and Danish teams, their approach is quite fun. But that's a story for another day. As we have two Swedish teams here, and Swedish players, they like to fight, and we have seen a lot of that, especially around these middle positions. But Fnatic were much more active on the CT side around mid. On the CT side. Oh, I said that.
You did.
Said
you said it again.
Twice for effect.
JW picking off Schneider. Doppler's been given the AWP because he's down to 2 HP, and he's looking towards the crawl space at the moment. But look at this reaction from Twist. He's got a lot of information for his team. But Doppler, he's going to change his angle and try to catch people looking towards jungle, or is he? He seems to be focused on apartments now, but surely Twist has got enough information for his side. So where is the rotation towards A? The bomb is on the ramp with a second player. Twist gets taken down around the connector position, and Freddy's on his own. But they've gleaned the information. It's a 2 versus 4. Doppler, maybe he is the cavalry. Maybe Freddy can play the clock. Flusher has little cover, and it's almost a 2-man spray down. They know where he is now, Doppler, and he will be the last man to get picked off. So indeed, we make it to match point Fnatic.
And this is cool because, you know, Fnatic, they took middle, and because Godsent didn't really pressure it, they sort of allowed Fnatic just to set up their coordinated attack, which is not. I think Godsent are going to need to find some of that aggression that Fnatic found.
We did see it initially from Godsent with the aggressive A ramp pushes.
Oh yeah.
And whatnot, but in OT might get a little bit too much into your own head. Actually, Freddy's going to go for a bit of a mission here towards Slower. Probably should have had that kill onto JW, but is traded out. And Electro crab walk spraying.
Wow.
Because that's the thing in this game.
What do you do? What do you do against that? They're still trying to frag out, actually. Whoa, 3 kills in the blink of an eye. Don't even know what the hell just happened. But it's left with Crimson Flusher. It was looking amazing for Fnatic. They were 5 versus 3. Well, now there'll be 2 versus 2 after Crimson's kill, and there's over a minute left. This is quite the stark difference in pace here to Fnatic's T side. And they are going to go for the play towards window, actually. This is cool. But this will be... Is there anyone to hear this? Actually,
yeah.
I think there is, yeah.
There's no way Dennis didn't hear that.
Oh, Disco Dog Plan is looking... Now looking the right way after they fired the shot. Will the trade come in, though? Quick underhanded flashbang, that'll do the trick. And Crimson is the one with the bomb, so he doesn't have to go forward for that.
Yeah, Dennis is going to hear him running towards CT spawn, though.
Woo. At least for Crimson, he knows the angles that his opponent can be now, and he's deep peeking for it. That deep peek, that is really nice from Crims. Won't do the job, though.
He's playing this really smartly.
3 bullets. Oh, with the last bullet! Oh, what a way to finish. Oh, man.
34.
The last bullet, man. He had 3 bullets.
34 frags on Crims. Having a great game overall. Just very solidly playing in that 1v1.
He had 3 bullets.
Yeah, that was Godsent's. There was a point where it got to it being Godsent's match to win, and they failed to do it in normal time, and it slipped away from them in extra time, so, or overtime rather. So I mean, I think it's maybe, well, it's a Swedish derby, so it's very unlike your normal match of Counter-Strike, but I suppose there are still some issues we should talk about.
I think Godsent will be hanging in their heads low when you consider the fact that what turned around this first half for them. It was this, well, I think it was that might have been this round actually, 7-2 or 7-4 actually, where JW gets through connector and basically starts the avalanche for Fnatic to get back into the half and actually make it a respectable halftime score. Because Godsent definitely had multiple opportunities to close this out, and at 15-10, the world's their oyster pretty much, but Fnatic doing a solid job of battling back into it.
Yeah, and those aggressive mid retakes were one of the factors in that. It seemed to be this dynamic that when Godsent were again finally in this last position to close it in regulation with all those T rounds, suddenly, you know, that CT aggression starts really panning out for Fnatic, and then Godsent, their answer is an untested blind B play a couple rounds in a row, which just falls flat on his face. So Fnatic will win this in overtime, and it's a weird one from that perspective that we feel like Godsent threw away a bunch of chances.
Yeah, no, it really is, and these are the kind of games, if you're Godsent, you want to hold on to, and because you're not going to get too many opportunities like this when you play. Obviously, Fnatic aren't in their final form, to put it that way, yet. So, and they're going to go up against harder opponents. So you need to grab whatever map you can in this league if you want to, avoid relegation. Obviously, that's not, imminent doom for them as of right now, but it's going to be a heavy loss to take for them because they probably feel themselves that they should have won this and closed it out at 15-10.
Well, let's have a look and see what this means for the leaderboard. Godsent 1-5 at the moment. That is not good, but it's better than 1-9. But those are the 2 bottom positions at the moment, ignoring that Mousesports haven't played a single game. So Fnatic 4-0 up there with Astralis and FaZe, all tied with 12 points. And between second and third, the round difference is pretty close, but with 4 matches played, it's more or less irrelevant at this point.
It's crazy that Heroic are not only 1-9, but their round difference is -62.
Yeah.
So
well, it's 52.
62.
62.
Was it 62? Okay, yeah. I was about to say, and for Godsent, it's actually pretty impressive to be 1-5 and only have -13.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So this has been pretty close games.
That tells you quite a lot. But that does bring things to a close here for Day 10 of Europe at ECS. But we'll be moving on to North America next, so stay tuned for that. We'll see you after a short break for North America.
If you're a fan of crutches, then get your hands on this. But now let's focus on an even greater product, Taser.com, a competitive gaming platform.
Wow, James, that sure sounds amazing.
It is amazing, Dan. On Taser, you can find the toughest dudes in the galaxy.
I heard it's got all these great features for real gaming.
Yes, it has, Dan. Like a voice communication system. Just post one to your friends.
Wow, James, that sure is cutting-edge technology.
Radios must be within a 10-metre straight line with clear line of sight and sunny weather with no wind.
Do you keep getting wrecked by hacker noobs online? Introducing new Taser security system.
Wow, it's so lightweight. It feels like there's nothing inside.
That's correct, Dan, but there's more.
Behavioural index to keep you from playing with idiots. An easy way to send in your results. Multiple game titles. And here you can see a happy customer.
It's great!
If you sign up within the next 4 minutes, you will get these items for free. James White's best Christmas songs. Watermelon signed by Dan Black.
Fan är det här?
Change faces, and nothing is real. Oh yeah, and you know, I've seen better days.